Oh, it does not. That music. Oh, feel it in my veins. Actually, I haven't put the drop in yet. Welcome back to the Eye on College Basketball Podcast. As promised, we are delivering you conference preview episodes for the Big Six leagues. Kyle Boone is here with me on this episode. You are getting a rotating cast of characters. GP and I will be on every single episode, as always, no matter what, throughout the rest of this month. GP or I, most episodes will have both of us. But if one of us isn't on it, the other one is guaranteed to be on it. I have that from the Nance intro. I've got I'm in full-on college hoops mode. I got to get that in the board. I don't have it yet, but I am in full-on college hoops mode. It feels amazing to have that music on the top. We are going to give you easily digestible conference previews. This one's going to be on the Big Ten. Kyle Boone's here with me. KB, how we doing?
Great. Thank you for having me on the show. Looking forward to talking some Big Ten, maybe bashing a little bit of Purdue. Can't wait.
That is, by the way, we're recording this Monday morning. That is some Monday morning conference tournament week energy. Don't worry. There's a lot coming, and he's gearing up for it. Okay, so yeah, we're going to have 15 to 20-minute episodes. By splitting GP and I up on most of these, it actually ensures we're going to hit that mark. We want to whet your appetite and give you a little bit of time to listen to these before the conference tournaments get going. So Big Ten, it's going to run Wednesday through Sunday. If you are watching the show on YouTube, please do smash the like button, share, subscribe if you can. We appreciate it. We'll keep these pretty quick. There's the bracket you see. So we're going Wednesday through Sunday. Tournaments being held in Chicago. The title game, as always, will air on CBS. That's going to be 3:30 Eastern on Sunday. That's the game that always leads into the selection show. The Big Ten tournament title game every so often can provide a situation where the team needs to win to get in, but so often we are all too eager for that game to finish so we can just get to the bracket already. That being said, look at this thing. Look at this bracket, man. All 14 teams are going. Not a lot of appeal with Ohio State, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Nebraska, although I will say, and we'll get to this in just a minute, Wisconsin is a bubble team, and it is rare for the Big Ten tournament to have a bubble team playing on the Wednesday. Kyle Boone, as we get into this field, let's talk just a couple of storylines. For you, what's the most predominant storyline or the one folks should have at front of mind heading into the B1G bracket?
Yeah, I teased it at the top. It's Purdue. What version of Purdue are we going to get in the Big Ten tournament? I mean, Purdue opened the season 22-1. They've gone 4-4 in their last 8 games. I was looking at kind of their second half stats of late. They've been outscored in 6 of their last 7 games in the second half. In 10 of their last 14 games, they've been outscored in the second half. So teams are making adjustments on this Purdue team. They're starting to unravel just a little bit. At one point, we were talking about Purdue as like the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. Now, I think they're going to be a number 1 seed just because their resume is good enough, but they have fallen from grace to a level where I think we have to re-examine Purdue's prospects moving forward, and that starts obviously with the Big Ten tournament. I don't know what version we're going to get from Purdue. I expect Zach Edey is going to do his thing because he continues to do his thing. But guard play has been a little bit hit or miss. If you're daring, Purdue to beat you with non-Edey components, then things get a little dicey. So curious to see, obviously, the biggest brand or the biggest, most successful team in the Big Ten this season, the Big Ten regular season champ, and how they fare in the postseason.
Yeah, Purdue's got a little urgency here. It probably needs to, at minimum, make the Big Ten title game to assure itself a 1 seed because UCLA is hot on the tail. And right now, UCLA has a claim to a 1 seed. Anyone that listened to our Sunday night episode, GP and I broke down that case overall. And now that they're out of the regular season, we will see. Purdue fans, college basketball fans are all too aware of Purdue's reputation. Once we get to March, good teams that have been nonetheless upset. Look at one of my storylines here. One, it's Northwestern on the 2 line. Northwestern is a 2 seed. Northwestern is a 2 seed. Now, had it lost on the road at Rutgers on Sunday night, it would have been 9. It would have been playing Michigan in the 8-9 game. But no, so Northwestern has a 2. That's a storyline, period. They're easily going to the tournament. Chris Collins is going to get a restructure contract soon here. And I said this on a previous episode some weeks ago. Northwestern would have fired Chris Collins a year ago if it was a little bit from a financial standpoint, if it was less impactful on the school's bottom line, I think they would have moved on. They didn't. Now look where we are. Amazing stuff on Northwestern. But my storyline is the morass of the middle of this league, which has been the entire season. The entire season. Here are your Big Ten standings. You see the bracket in front of you if you're watching on YouTube. Purdue went 15-5. Below that, Indiana, Northwestern, and Michigan State all had 8 losses. Maryland, Illinois, Iowa, Michigan had 9. Rutgers and Penn State had 10, and even Wisconsin and Nebraska had 11. There's just a clog in the middle. Expect chaos. We're going to pick our title game matchup and winner of this thing. We're not going to go every game. We're not going to do that. We're saving that for the big bracket. But if you, as an exercise at home for fun, if you want to try and actually pick this field, you have no chance of picking every game correctly. You will get at least one wrong, and chances are you're going to get multiple games wrong. So the general chaos in Chicago is my big storyline. I got to figure you're expecting the same, Kyle Boone. Like, we're just just ridiculousness.
Additional storyline to add here. Something that's been under-discussed and possibly underrated going into the Big Ten tournament. Does Fran McCaffrey have one more Heisenberg moment in him to propel Iowa into postseason play? He gave the ref the "I am the one who knocks" stare down late in that Michigan State game. Iowa went on to win that in overtime. They blasted Indiana the next game, but they lost at home to Nebraska on Sunday. Not great. Very interesting. I mean, maybe he's got a "we're done here when I say we're done here" moment, or an "it's over, I won" moment.
Recite basically almost the entirety of seasons 5 and 6 while you're here. Let's go.
Might as well. I just finished binging the show, so Heisenberg is fresh in my mind. But I am curious to see if Iowa can bounce back, because I think I've said this on previous pods. I can't quit this Iowa team. They have a ton of talent. We've seen kind of the ceiling from this team. Would be a lot more optimistic about their prospects had they not blown a game at home to Nebraska. But I kind of like Nebraska. I feel like it says more about Nebraska than Iowa. Still don't know what I'm going to get from this Hawkeyes team, which, again, to your point, the middle of the Big Ten, you kind of never know what you're going to get. So,
did you just watch Breaking Bad for the first time, or was this a rewatch? Share your truth.
Yeah, I just watched it for the first time.
Wow, how about that? But you get the experience of doing it all these years later, and you haven't watched Better Call Saul yet?
No.
Okay, that's got to be next. Some people think Saul is better. Breaking Bad is slightly better, but they're really, really close. So once the tournament's over, Better Call Saul. Get on it.
El Camino? Someone said I should watch El Camino too.
That you're going to want to watch that. You could do either one. You probably maybe watch it after Breaking Bad. It did technically come out. I think it came out in the midst of Saul. It doesn't really matter.
Gotcha.
We're getting off topic, but that's good to know. And if you're listening to the pod and haven't watched Breaking Bad, it's one of the 10 best shows of all time. Some would consider it among the top 3 or 5. Here are your players to know. As we record this, unless I missed it, the player of the year hasn't been announced. It's going to be Zach Edey, but Trace Jackson Davis gave him a good run. Did you see this note? I had this in my inbox here. The overall scoring run, 20 games apiece. Edey scored 437. Jackson Davis scored 436 in Big Ten play. 21.85 points per game for Zach Edey. 21.8 for Trace Jackson Davis. Credit to TJD. He gave Edey a really, really good run. Edey's going to win. Purdue won the league. Edey was the best player on the best team, and he's been the best player in the sport. Although the margin on that has closed in the past month for sure. Zach Edey, it goes without saying, a player to know, a player to watch there. There's a lot of dudes, though, here. Like TJD and Jalen Hood-Schifino, probably the best 1-2 combo in the conference for Indiana. Keep an eye on that. Chris Murray at Iowa is also one to know. I think you could have like Hunter Dickinson for Michigan. He'll be a factor. Jalen Pickett averages 18, and oh, by the way, leads the league in assists at 7 per game. Awesome all-league player. We've seen what Boo Buie can do for Northwestern. Terrence Shannon is obviously a danger and key for Illinois. Jameer Young's one of the best big shot makers, although he's had a few hiccups here, but he's one to keep an eye out for. Tyson Walker's had big moments for Michigan State. Even if Dickinson's not the guy, Jet Howard might be ready to step up there.
Doug McDaniel's been playing well
any
too.
guy in particular you're keeping your eye on, or you think might be poised for a good 1-2-3 game stretch in the Big Ten tournament?
I think you kind of nailed all of them. I was going to drop the Doug McDaniel Jet Howard combo, but you already got there. Chris Murray's been fantastic. I think he's the reason why Iowa has a chance to make a legitimate run. I mean, Michigan State Hogard has been pretty good. Tyson Walker, obviously. So, yeah, there's a lot of talent in the Big Ten. We talk a lot about the bigs in this conference with Trace Jackson Davis and Hunter Dickinson, and obviously with Zach Edey. But there's a lot of good guards as well. So.
Yeah, there's also a couple of many elite defenders, but Rutgers has Caleb McConnell, who's like one of the 5 best defenders in the country, and then Chase Audige is among the 10 to 20 best defenders in the country. So some good guys there too. Let's talk bubble, because the Big Ten has the most of any conference we're going to preview. Teams that are on the bubble and need at least one win to maybe have their name called on Selection Sunday. So we've got Rutgers, Michigan. Let's start there. Rutgers is going to play Michigan. If you're watching on YouTube, again, smash that like button if you could for us. That's going to be the classic Big Ten quarterfinal, noon tip on Thursday. That is an elimination game. The loser of that is not going to the NCAA tournament. Michigan, I'm not going to repeat myself from the Sunday night show entirely, but Michigan right now is in dire need, in my opinion. 8-13 in the top 2 quadrants, 5 games under with a quad 4 loss is a tough scene. And then in the resume-based metrics, it's 57 at KPI and strength of record, and it's 54 in the net. Rutgers, I might be lower on Rutgers than anyone else, but the Scarlet Knights are stumbling, bumbling, fumbling here. 40 in the net, but the resume-based, 53 in KPI, 62 in strength of record. On a certain level, if you're below 60 in strength of record, I can never give you an at-large. That's just a personal preference there. The predictives are higher on Rutgers, but 9 and 10 in the top 2 quadrants with 3 quad 3 losses. Are you going to be comfortable, having lost that many? The team has spiraled. It has lost 6 of its past 8. The wins on the road against Wisconsin and Penn State were huge in that. I would have for sure the loser of that game out of the tournament. Real quick, I assume you would agree with that?
I would agree. Yes. Okay. Elimination game for sure.
I think there's a healthy chance that Rutgers beating Michigan would be enough to get it into the field. I would actually scrutinize the resume a little bit more, but I think you're going to find almost a universal thought. If Rutgers beats Michigan, it's in. Michigan, I think Michigan may need to. It's 17-14. It's going to get into the field as an at-large. If it does with 15 losses, that would tie the all-time record. So if it beats Rutgers, they're 18-14, loses Purdue, 18-15 Michigan team. I just don't know. Keep an eye on that. I think I need 2 from Michigan personally when you really dig into that resume. Yes or no?
Yeah, I actually think
Palm is against the grain with this. Palm is higher on Michigan than many. I tend to believe Michigan might need to.
I think you win over Rutgers, you're probably in. But when Rutgers beat Purdue, you're like feeling good, not sweating on Selection Sunday.
No, you're done. You're in for sure. That's in with room to breathe. If you can do that, remember there will be bid thieves. Keep that in mind as well. The other 2 bubble teams, Penn State. Look at the bracket here. Penn State right now, it's in the 10-7 game. It beats Illinois, it's in. I think it's going to have enough in that scenario at this point. Penn State, let me bring it up for you right now. Penn State, as we record this podcast, 19-12. It's played a good overall strength of schedule, 33 in the country. It has 6 combined road and neutral victories, which is healthy. 5 and 6 in quad 1, 4 and 5 in quad 2. So yes, it is sub 500 in the top 2 quadrants. Has 1 quad 3 loss. You could make the it got the just downright necessary win to close the regular season. I think if it beats Illinois, it'll probably be in, but it's going to be fascinating to see what these teams can do, because then the other one is Wisconsin, and Wisconsin right now is a team that I've been higher on. Now its net is low. As we record, Wisconsin is 78 in the net. If it got in at 78, which it won't, it's got to win and it's going to jump up. That would set the record. Rutgers from last season, 77 is the lowest in the net era. It does not have a team street metric better than 46 right now. 11-12 in the top 2 quadrants. It's 1-1 in quad 3 and 5-0 in quad 4. I bring that up to say strength of schedule will boost the Badgers here. But when you look at that bracket, Badgers got to get past the Buckeyes, and then you're going to play Iowa. You beat Iowa, it will not be a debate. Wisconsin going 1-1 in the Big Ten tournament. I think it's on the short list of 2 or 3 teams with the most interesting resumes along the likes. I'm interested to see, like, if Charleston makes the CAA title game and loses in a good one to Hofstra, how we evaluate Charleston's resume as a 29-win team versus the likes of Wisconsin or a Michigan that wins one game and loses against Purdue. That kind of stuff I'll be interested to see overall. Those are your bubble teams. Any quick thoughts on those, KB?
God, give me Charleston. I do not want to see Wisconsin in the NCAA tournament. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
For many reasons,
I'm so sick of this Wisconsin team. They haven't won 2 straight since the first week of January.
Is that a fact?
I mean, it's just that is a fact. The last time they've won 2 straight games was December 30th and January 3rd.
Amazing.
Just a disgusting team. I mean, they're fine.
To do it in the tournament. Yeah. Okay.
They're just fine. So maybe they get in, and if they win, the first round and probably beat Iowa, then I would say they're probably comfortably in, just based off kind of my feel and read of the bubble. But yeah, I would much prefer to see Charleston / generic mid-major over kind of the meh of this Wisconsin team.
A win over Iowa would mark 3 wins for Wisconsin over Iowa this season, and the victory that is even having them in this conversation, they won at Marquette back in early December. That win has aged like a fine wine. Those are your bubble teams. In all these conference previews, we're going to pick a bid thief or the best bid thief, and the bid thief can be a team fringe on the bubble, so we are including that. The Big Ten is weird because any team that would get to a title game situation is going to get an at-large. So let's just pick the team seeded 5th or worst in this field that we think has the best chance at winning it. I think it's, even though the Big Ten will be a chaos machine, I'm not seeing any of the teams 5 or worse winning this thing. But for the purposes of this exercise, we got to pick one. I feel like what you said earlier. Are you going Iowa?
I'm going Nebraska, baby. Nebraska.
Actually,
I know
it's a horrible idea, but this would be unprecedented. Go Wednesday.
It doesn't. Yeah, it sounds crazy, and it probably is a little bit crazy. 9-11 in conference play. They're the 11th seed going into this week. They're definitely not the favorite, but they've won 5 of their last 6. They went on the road and beat Iowa this weekend. They're kind of feisty. Yeah, walked right in. They're kind of figuring things out. It's probably too late, but Hoiberg figuring things out late in the season. I mean, Nebraska, no one is going to be picking Nebraska, obviously, but going against Minnesota, to me, that's an automatic win. You get a kind of hit or miss Maryland team on Thursday. That could be a pretty close one. And then you get Indiana, a team that has been kind of up and down. I really like this Indiana team, and I'll spoil it a little bit. I think I may be picking them to win this, but yeah, the path is absolutely there for them to go Wednesday to Sunday and win this. So yeah, give me all the Nebraska long shot odds.
Huskers only have 2 losses since we got to February 1. I will go Illinois, I guess. Illini are 20-11. Yeah, they've been up and down. They Gross. Really have. They have. But there is enough from a roster standpoint. There is enough. I'm not overwhelmingly confident, and I had to pick someone on the bottom half of the bracket because I just can't. I'm not picking Michigan to do it, and I'm picking Iowa to get through Michigan State and then probably Purdue. Too much of a long shot, and I don't like Maryland's matchups over on the bottom half of the bracket.
Yeah, I don't either.
Illinois is my pick by default. So with that in mind, who are we watching on Sunday playing this title game at 3:30 Eastern? Who's beating who in the final game?
Okay, is the Big Ten tournament being played in College Park?
It's not.
Okay, that changes my pick then.
It never has been, and we wait to see if it wins any of the bids over the next decade. But I can't say I see that happening.
Okay, so that's easy for me. Maryland is going out in its first game. It's going to be Indiana versus Iowa in the Big Ten title game. Let's get weird.
How's that gone the past 2 times for the Hoosiers? Oh, by the way.
Yeah.
Been rough.
I don't trust Purdue one lick right now. I could easily see Rutgers or Michigan taking them down. Can't see Indiana losing to Northwestern. That said, Northwestern did sweep them in the regular season, so something to watch. But I like the Jalen Hood-Schifino, Trace Jackson-Davis combo. I think they are the most lethal combo in the Big Ten right now. So yeah, I like the Hoosiers. Mike Woodson, I think, called it a bull bleep performance when they got blown out against Iowa, and they looked pretty feisty, pretty resilient over the weekend. So, yeah, I like the Hoosiers. Give me the Hoosiers over the Hawkeyes.
In your scenario, if Indiana beats Iowa in the title game, I think Indiana's a 3 seed, and I think Iowa is a 6 in the NCAA tournament if it happens like that. Mine will be, I will also put the Hoosiers in the bottom half. We'll see if they can get it done. We'll see. I'll buy in hesitantly. Something about Indiana. It's just the variance seems significant for that team. But they got, Trace and Hood Schifino, and it's more than just them. Xavier Johnson, by the way, not going to play the rest of the season. We learned that. He's going to try and get a hardship waiver. His college career might be done. But they have thrived. They've been able to thrive for the most part. They've been able to have really good runs without him. I will buy in on Purdue. Give me Purdue over Indiana, clinching a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament in the process there. I will, come find me, mock me. I could well be wrong, but I'm going to say Purdue really gets its act together, and we are talking about the Boilermakers on Selection Sunday as a team that just impressively won 3 straight games with none of them being in doubt in the final 5 minutes. I think they're going to easily beat the Rutgers-Michigan winner, and then they'll be able to beat whoever they meet in the semis if it's Michigan State or someone else. Purdue won both its games against Michigan State this season. And then they get a good push from Indiana, but they ultimately win. So give me Boilermakers over Hoosiers. Before we get out of here, we're trying to keep them tight. Any closing thoughts?
Do you hear that noise?
Oh, boy.
It sounds like all 6 Northwestern basketball fans are punching air at us right now. All 6 of them. The 2 seed, no respect. None. No respect. Wow.
Chris Collins is going to win. I wonder if Chris Collins is going to win Big Ten Coach of the Year. That stuff could have come out by the time you listen to this pod, but we don't have it. We don't have it right now. That is your Big Ten Conference Tournament preview. I'm Matt Norlander. He's Kyle Boone. We've got 5 more of these coming over the next 24 to 36 hours. So thank you so much for watching on YouTube. Thank you for continuing to subscribe and listen to the Eye on College Basketball podcast. And the next one in the feed, I could tease it. You're just going to have to wait and see. There's no rhyme or reason. It's all schedule based. We'll see you on the next episode. Thanks so much.